connectivity, Eulerian and Hamiltonian graph, and their application. All these things come under this chapter. We discuss little bit on connectivity. That part is important but not much, but Eulerian and Hamiltonian graph you have to understand clearly. Then the application. Some applications comes under the Eulerian graph, some comes under the Hamiltonian graph, especially shortest path problem, it comes and Chinese postman problem, it comes under the semi-Eulerian graph, and the traveling salesman problem, it comes under the Hamiltonian graph. And also the connectivity you have to understand, but normally connectivity part is not very clear. So when you try to understand connectivity, it is you get a bit confused, but try to understand. So the in connectivity part, what we do is we are the given connected graph. Connected means graph has only one component. So we are going to disconnect it. That means you are going to break it into pieces. So when you disconnect it, one way is you can remove vertices. Another way is removing edges. Removing vertices you can disconnect, and removing edges you can disconnect. So the minimum number of edges you have to remove in order to disconnect, or minimum number of vertices you have to remove in order to disconnect comes under the edge connectivity and vertex connectivity. Now, so here you can see the connectivity. Let's consider 4 connected graph in figure 3.1. So these are the 4 graphs we are going to discuss. Okay, I can draw these 4 graphs. First one is a graph like this. Next chapter we are having trees. Tree is a connected graph without cycles. Now I draw this one. This graph is like this. So I can draw this way, this way. First graph, or G1 graph is this. Second graph. So then you have to think about how we can disconnect this graph. What is the minimum number of edges you have to remove in order to disconnect the first graph? Okay. And minimum number of vertices you have to remove in order to disconnect the first graph. Then this is the second graph. What is the minimum number of edges you have to remove in order to disconnect the minimum number of vertices? So think about that while I am drawing. Third one is this one. This G3. Yeah. Now here, find minimum number of edges you have to remove in order to disconnect the graph. And the last one is complete graph K5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now while I am drawing, you have to think what is the minimum number of edges you have to disconnect. Means you should get the 2 components. Okay? So disconnect the graph. Complete graph of 5 vertices. Each vertex has degree 4. Now to disconnect this one, this is a tree. This is not closed. So if you remove any edge, say if you remove this edge, you can disconnect. So this edge, removing any edge, you can disconnect. Okay. First graph, to disconnect, you have to remove only one edge. Even the vertices, to disconnect, how many vertices you have to remove? Well, I am asking the minimum. So if you take, when you remove a vertex, you have to remove all the edges adjacent to that vertex. Say if I remove this vertex, disconnect this vertex and the edges. So if you, okay, so at the same time, if you keep this one, if you remove this vertex, removing this vertex means you have to remove all this vertex. So when you remove this vertex, you remove all the edges adjacent to that vertex. So the removing this vertex means you have to remove this vertex. When you remove this vertex, what you do? So you remove this one and this one. When you remove that middle vertex, you have to remove all the edges adjacent to that one. Now this is disconnected. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 parts are there. So therefore, the first graph you can disconnect by removing either one vertex or one edge. First graph, you removing one edge or one vertex, you can remove. Now we go to the second one. Second one, to disconnect, if you think about the edge, just removing one edge, it won't happen. Any edge is still connected. It's still one component. If you remove another edge, this one, then disconnect. To disconnect, here you have to remove two edges. Minimum is two. With one edge, any edge, you can't do the job. So we have to remove two. So therefore, for this graph, so you have to disconnect, you have to remove two edges. Now, how many what is the minimum number of vertices you have to remove to disconnect? If you remove this vertex, it's still one component. This one is still one. If you remove this vertex, we'll try to remove this vertex. You can see we're removing me all the edges, and once you remove this vertex, you can disconnect. So then the minimum number of vertices you have to remove in order to disconnect the second graph is 1. Now go to the third one. What is the minimum number of vertices you have to remove in order to disconnect? If you remove this vertex, still one component. If you this one, if you remove these three vertices, if you remove these three vertices, you can discard. So to disconnect the third graph, minimum number of edges, vertices you have to remove is 3. So you can see that if I remove those vertices, this edge, so I remove this one, this vertex, then this one, to remove this one, this edges, and this one. Once you remove this diagonal edges, so the vertices in this one, so you can disconnect this can. So you three vertices, even edges. Now removing just one vertex, you can't disconnect this. Now when you go to this one, this is complete. K5. Here all pairs of distinct vertices we have joined. But here, by removing vertices, you can't disconnect. So if you remove this vertex, say, suppose you disconnect this vertex, that means these four edges you erase. When you disconnect, still one component. If you remove this vertex, remove this, still one component. If you remove this vertex, still one component. If you remove this vertex, still one. So this one, you can't disconnect removing vertex. So when you think about the edges, if you remove 5 edges, the degree 4 edges you can disconnect. So here you K5. If you have, whenever you have a complete graph, you can't disconnect removing vertices. If you take a triangle, triangle is K3. So this is the smallest complete graph is K3. Now if you want to disconnect, I am asking the vertices. Edges is 2. If you disconnect these two edges, when you cut these two edges, when you remove these two edges, you can disconnect. But vertices, if you remove this vertex, removing vertex means you have to remove the adjacent edges, this and this, still one component. If you remove this vertex, that means edge and this, still one. So therefore, complete graph you can't disconnect by removing one or two vertices. Even though you keep on removing vertices, still one component. Disconnect means you get more than. So this one, the removing one edge or vertex you can disconnect. This is a tree. But when you go to the second one, removing middle vertex you can disconnect. In the third one, to disconnect, you have to remove all three vertices. Sorry, all three vertices, these three, then only you can do. To complete graph, you can't remove vertices, edges. Now we go to the node and try to understand the node. Let's consider four connected graphs of figure 3.1. G1 is a tree. Is a minimal connected graph. Deleting any edge you can disconnect. In G1, deleting any edge you can disconnect. Also deleting any vertex you can disconnect. Deleting any vertex you can disconnect. You remove vertex, not any vertex. This vertex, or this vertex. You remove this one, still one component. So the deleting an edge you can disconnect. Deleting a vertex you can disconnect. G2 cannot be disconnected by deleting a single edge. If you take a single edge out, you can't disconnect. You have to remove two edges. But if you remove the middle vertex, when you remove the vertex, you have to remove all four edges. Then you can disconnect. G2 cannot be disconnected by deleting a single edge, but can be disconnected by deleting or deletion of one vertex. So that vertex is called the cut vertex. Cut vertex is a vertex. Once you remove, you can disconnect them. Do you understand the definition? Cut vertex is a vertex. Once you remove it, you can disconnect it. Then the other one is cut edge. Cut edge is an edge. Once you remove it, you can disconnect it out. In the third one, this has no cut edge or cut vertex. So to disconnect, you have to remove three vertices. That in other words, cut set has three vertices. Even the cut set has three edges. If you remove these three edges, you can disconnect. If you remove these three vertices along the diagonal, you can disconnect. So there are no cut edges, so cut vertices in G3, but even so, G3 is clearly not as well as connected as G4. G4 is a complete graph. You can't disconnect this one removing any number of vertices. But here, this vertex and this vertex not connected, this and this are not connected. That means end vertices of the diagonals are not connected. Therefore, you can disconnect by removing three vertices. But the last one, you can't disconnect removing any number of vertices. That's why they say that G3 has no cut edges and cut vertices, but even so, G3 is clearly not as well as connected as G4 is totally connected. Every pair of distinct vertices are connected. Now we go to the vertex cut of G. Vertex cut is a set of vertices which we want to remove in order to disconnect the graph. In this graph, vertex cut has one vertex, here one vertex, here vertex cut has three vertices. Once you remove these three, you can disconnect or these three. And here vertex cut is no vertices. Removing any number of vertices, you can still one component. So look at those 4 examples and try to use these 4 examples to understand the cut vertices and cut set or cut vertex set and cut edge set. Okay. And that means if the complete graph, the graph is a complete graph, then this has no cut vertices. Therefore, whenever graph is given and if you have asked to find a cut vertex or vertex cut set, if the graph has a complete graph as a subgraph, then no cut vertex. A complete graph has no cut vertex cut or cut vertices. In fact, the only graph which do not have vertex cuts are those that contain complete graph as a spanning sub. If we have a large graph, it has a complete graph as a spanning subgraph, then that graph has no vertex. So do you understand? So this is not easy. Huh? So you have to understand that at the beginning I told that. So what do you mean by? So the vertex cut contains minimum number of vertices you have to remove in order to disconnect. Once you cut, disconnect 2 parts or more, 2 or more parts. So the complete graph has no cut vertices. If a given graph has a complete graph as a subgraph, then that graph also has cut vertices. Now we go to the next para. If G has at least one pair of distinct non-adjacent vertices, here non-adjacent means this and this. These are not adjacent. Okay, and this are not adjacent. So this vertex and this are non-adjacent. These are this not adjacent. This one. If a graph has at least one pair of distinct non-adjacent vertices, the connectivity by Kg of G is the minimum K for which G has K cut, K vertex cut. Otherwise, we define chi G connectivity. That means vertex connectivity is V minus 1. So if the minimum number of vertices you have to remove is K, then we say that vertex connectivity Kg is K. Okay. Now, if you take Kg is 0, connectivity is 0, that means minimum number of vertices you have to remove is 0, the graph should be a trivial graph. If we have a null graph, no edges. It's a disconnected one. If you take a null graph, say in 6 vertices without edges, so then Kg is 0. So we don't want to remove any vertices. It is disconnected. And the graph is said to be K connected. If the connectivity is greater than K, then we say K connected means to disconnect, you have to remove at least K vertices. If you have to remove at least K vertices, it is K connected. If you take any non-trivial graph, non-trivial means, so you have at least some edges. So then, if you take these 4 graphs, these are non-trivial. Okay, not trivial graph or null graph. So to disconnect this one, we have to remove one vertex. Here you have to remove at least one vertex. Here we have to remove at least 3 vertices. Here we have to remove all vertices still. So therefore, that means chi G. For all trivial, non-trivial graphs, one connected means to disconnect, one is the minimum. At least you have to remove one vertex to disconnect. At least a K edge cut is an edge cut of K. So to one connected means the vertex connectivity is 1 means minimum number of vertices. That means you have to remove at least one vertex. That means one connected means Kg is greater than or equal to 1. That means you have to remove at least one vertex to disconnect. Okay? If the graph is non-trivial. If this is a trivial graph, chi G is 0. So that is for the vertices, And similar definition for the edges. Instead of chi g, we write chi dash. A k edge cut. A k edge cut is a cut of, that means you have to remove k edges to disconnect. Cut of k element or k edges. Okay. Now we are looking at edges. If G is a non-trivial and E dash is a cut of G, then G minus E dash is connected. If you take this graph, to disconnect, you have to remove one edge. Any edge, the cut edge. So to disconnect here, minimum number of edges is if you remove this and this, you can. Here, to disconnect, you have to remove minimum degrees. Here to disconnect, you have to remove minimum edge. If G is non-trivial and E dash is an edge cut of G, then G minus E dash is disconnected. We then define the edge connectivity of G to be the minimum K for which G has K edge cut. If G is trivial means no, or it's a null graph, then no edges. So then K dash is either trivial or disconnected. If it is 1, so chi dash 1 is G is connected with a cut vertex. This K edge connectivity means, so the minimum number of edges you have to remove is K. All the connected graphs are one edge connected. So these are, here at least one you have to remove, at least one, that means 2. At the minimum is 3, 4, that means all are one word edge connectivity. That means at least one. When you say one edge connectivity, chi dash G is 1. 1 means always it is greater than or 1 no more. Excuse me. Hello? Okay, so these are the 4 graphs. So you have to try to understand this page. Connected, this is difficult. So we are not using much on this, but we have to understand what we mean by vertex connectivity and edge connectivity. Then we go to the path and cycle. So for the application, this is important. There are 5 terms: walk, trail, path, cycle. You should understand the definition of these 5 terms. Eulerian circuit, Hamiltonian cycle, Euler path, Hamiltonian path, trail. So these words we are using all the time. Okay, Hamiltonian cycle, you have to find the Hamiltonian cycle. Find the Hamiltonian Euler circuit, and you have to find the Hamiltonian path. You have to find the open trail or closed trail, walk. So these 5 terms are coming all the time when you go for the application. So therefore, you have to understand these 5 terms. Okay, now we go to the paths and cycles. After that, after discussing Hamiltonian and Eulerian graph, we are going to the application. Many problems can be modeled with paths formed by traveling along the edges of it. We obtain the path by traveling along the edges. We go along the edges, then you get the path. We move along the edges. We begin this section by defining a basic terminology of graph theory that deals with path. A walk. Walk is a finite sequence of vertices and edges of the form x0 to x1, these are vertices, x0 to x1, x1 to x2, x2 to x3, up to x3, in which whenever you take consecutive edges, they are identical or distinct. And the number of edges in the walk is called the length. If you want to write a walk of length 5, so you have to write 5 edges. x0, x1, x1, x2, like that. So the here x0, x1, x1, x. So in the walk, edges and vertices could be repeated. Okay, whenever you take two vertices then they are just identical or distinct. So, for example, if you write a verb, say if you take if you write like this, so then suppose suppose you write one H, say U goes to V, U goes to V, and again U goes to V, again V goes to, again U goes to U, again the same edge you can write. U goes to V. If you look at this, U go to V, go to U, then you go to V. Here same edge we are UVH, VU, UV. Here vertices, we have repeated the vertices. UVH and VUH. They are same. So the edges and vertices are repeated. Therefore, this is called a verb. In a verb, both edges and vertices could be repeated. In a verb, both vertices and edges could be repeated. In a verb, both vertices and edges could be. This is the most general definition. If you have one edge, this is U, and say this is U and this is V. If you want to write a path of length O, you can write U goes to V goes to U, again U goes to V. It's a path, walk of length 3. So this is a walk of, it's a walk of length. It's a walk of length. Because this has the edges. U goes to V goes to U again. Same edge you can repeat and write 1,000 times when the length is 1,000. The walk is a most general. Here, only thing is when you write this one, you have to identify that this edge, UV edge is repeated, vertices is repeated. You can see vertices repeated because the same labeling is there. But a walk in which all the edges are distinct. Edges are distinct means vertices could be repeated. That is called the trail. In a trail, in the Eulerian graph, we are finding the trail. Vertices could be, we repeat the vertex. That means you visit the same vertex several times, but edges you can't. Walk in which all the edges are distinct is called the trail. You visit the vertex, the same vertex several times, but you are not repeating the edges. But in a trail, if the vertices are also distinct, then called the path. In a path, both vertices and edges are. So A to B, B to C, C to D, D to E. Nothing repeat. A goes to B, or U goes to V, V goes to W, W goes to X, X goes to Y, Y goes to Z, and so on. All are distinct. And once you close the path, that means starting and end are same. Closed path is a cycle. Once you close the path cycle, once you close the trail circuit. Euler circuit, Hamiltonian cycle. Those are the two things we are seeing. So is it clear? Walk, trail, path, cycle, circuit. Walk is the most general one. Vertices and edges could be repeated. In the trail, the second one is trail, only vertices could be repeated. Third one is path, both are not repeated. And once you close the path cycle, close the circuit, close the trails. Theorem. There is a simple path between every pair of distinct vertices connected undirected. If you get a connected graph, undirected, we are looking at the undirected, directed graph, we'll discuss later as a separate chapter. Simple path between every pair of distinct vertices of a connected undirected graph. When you are connected graph, so then there's a simple path between every pair of distinct. Path means vertices and edges. So when your graph is given. So if we do this one, this is a simple path vertices. If you take this one, it's a path. Vertices and here you can find path, any graph you can find. Then we are going to introduce Euler and Hamiltonian graph. The Königsberg bridge problem already I have explained in the introduction or the history. So here river is flowing through this city or town, Königsberg town, and that there sometimes we call the river break into two islands. So yeah, two islands are connected, or two rivers are flowing through. So the shape of the graph is like this. So these are like two islands. These are the two banks. B and C are the two banks of the river, and connect by 7 bridges. This is called the very famous Königsberg bridge problem or 7 bridge problem. And people Sunday walk from one location to other location, and one day they're wondering if they start from one location, cross each bridge exactly once, whether they can come to the starting point or starting location. To solve Euler prove the handshaking lemma, that is the first result, 1736. After that, he got a lot of results, and he proved that he identified Eulerian graph and properties of Eulerian graph. Later, he showed that this is possible. What he did was 2 banks and 2 islands he took as a 4 vertices of the graph. And remember that always now in next other chapters also we are going to define new graph. Whenever you define a new graph, what are the vertices, edges you have to mention. Here the 4 locations are the 4 vertices and bridges are the edges. 7 bridges become 7. So A to C you can via 2 bridges, 2 edges, multi-edges. A to B 2, A to D 1, and D to C and D to B. So this is the graph. This graph they draw in some different shape. This is the gun. So when you think about the degrees, C has degree 3, A has degree 5, B has degree 3, D has degree. All are odd degree. Therefore, it is not possible. If you try to draw the pen and take a pen and draw it, if you take A, C, C, D, D, B, A, C, so you miss something. You can't. By traveling along each edge exactly once, you can't do this. So now, still we didn't solve the problem. Now we define the Eulerian graph. A connected graph is Eulerian if there exists a closed trail containing every edge. Such a trail is an Eulerian. If you have a closed trail containing every edge of G, this is called an Eulerian graph. When a connected graph is a closed trail. In a trail, edges could be repeated. Edges are distinct. Vertices could be repeated. Now look at these 3 graphs. Now first graph, you take a pencil and try to draw. Start from one vertex, go along this way, go down, up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if you start from any vertex, you can end at the same point. You have to visit the vertices several times, but edges we are not. Therefore, first graph is only. So you can see in the Eulerian one, you can see, you start here when you visit the vertex, when you go to the vertex, you have to go out. To find a trail, close one, you have to go to the vertex and come out. When you reach the vertex, you contribute 1 to the degree. When you come out of the vertex, when you go there, degree contribution of degree is 1. When you go out, again you contribute 1. When you go 1 and come out 1, 1 plus 1. Again you go somewhere here and again go there, contribute 1. Again where you come out this way, again you contribute 1. Okay, so where you go to the vertex and go out, then contribution is 2. Again you go somewhere else and ultimately again come to that vertex and go out, again 2. So that means, so the Eulerian one you can see, each vertex should have even degree, otherwise you can't come out. If the vertex degree is 3, you go out, again you come here and go there, you can't come out. So therefore, in the Eulerian graph, you can see that each vertex is having degree 3. So when it is here 2, you go to this vertex and go out. If it is 4, go visit the vertex, come out again, second time, again visit and again come out. So you go to the vertex twice when the degree is 4. When the degree is 6, you visit the vertex 3 times. When the degree is 8, you go visit the vertex 4 times. So something like that. So if each vertex is having even degree, we say graph is Eulerian. Okay. Eulerian means each vertex is having even. So the second graph, when you think about the second one, these 2 vertices are odd. All the others are. The middle one is not a vertex. Remember that. This cross is not a vertex. This is 4. This is 4. This is 2. These are. These are 3. Now try to draw the path. If you start somewhere here, say this point, so you this way, go this way, visit, you start here. You can't here. Because you can't repeat the adjustment. Eulerian, we have to find the trail. In the trail, edges are distinct. So if you start from somewhere here, so I'll okay, so take this graph. First one, second one, is not a vertex. So try to find the trail, close trail. First one and the second one. Yes, you write the degrees. Okay, here the degrees are 4. We use this one to understand this section. So, 3, 4, here. This is the okay. 4, 4, 3, Okay, these are the 3 graphs. Here, even every vertex is having even degree. So you can start from any place you like. So we like this. We go along this one, any. So you can repeat the same vertex, again go the visit the vertex, go out, visit the vertex, go out. This is only. Close trail, starting point, we end it. So therefore it's closed. So this is the Eulerian graph. It's called Eulerian. Second one is, if you start somewhere here, you go this way, you start. But if you start one odd vertex, this has 2 odd vertices. This and this are odd. If you start one odd vertex, traveling along each edge exactly once, you can end at the other one. We start here, we end here. So therefore, this is a Eulerian but not close. Therefore, we say semi-Eulerian. Semi-Eulerian. But here, all the semi-Eulerian 1, 2 vertices are odd, rest is even. Here, more than 2 odd. 3, 3, even you try here, you can go this way. You will miss this. You can't miss it. Here, then here you can write all even degree. So therefore, this is Eulerian. Eulerian. So here, 2 vertices, odd, others even. Others even. Therefore, this is semi-Eulerian. Here, more than 2. More than 2 vertices are odd. Therefore, non-Eulerian, not Eulerian. Non-Eulerian or not Eulerian. So these are the three cases. So here we have this as Euler. Here we say this as Euler path. Or sometimes we call open trail. So you have to understand this one. As Euler path, Euler path to open trail. Always you get confused with this one. Trail is not closed, open. Okay. This is then here what you have? Euler circuit or Euler, we say Euler circuit, closed trail. So if you want, you can write these things. So this is the place where you get confused. Sometimes I have to go the Euler closed trail or open trail or Euler circuit to closed trail both are same. Euler path to open trail both are same. This is non-Eulerian nothing. So this is so then one theorem later we discuss the node under this discuss the diagram. So the one theorem you have, if each vertex is an even, graph is Eulerian. After that we go back to our Königsberg problem. Now there's another way to see that if the graph is Eulerian, you can break the graph into disjoint cycles. So like this. So the first graph is Eulerian. You can I can show you that we can break this one into disjoint cycles. So like this. With this graph, we can break into disjoint cycles. So I pull out this triangle and the other side this triangle. And the middle part, is it okay? So this graph I break into cycles. So if the given graph can be broken into cycles, it is Eulerian. You can do that when the degrees are even here. So I pull out this point, and this point. So this is a cycle, this is a cycle, this is a C4. You can write this way. This is this middle part is isomorphic with this is isomorphic with this. This is isomorphic with this. Middle part is isomorphic. This and this isomorphic. This and this isomorphic. Okay, these two also you can turn it then. So if the degrees are even, you can break into disjoint cycles. If it is Eulerian, you can break. But this one, second one, we try to break. What happened? So you have to understand this. That's why I am drawing these things to understand. So when you break it, whether you get all the cycles. So here you get this side triangle, that is fine. This side triangle, this one we have like this. Here we have single edge. So you can see. This is degree 4 to 2. I break this one. It's a cycle. Middle part cycle. Here single edge. So therefore, you have a one edge remaining. Therefore, this is not Eulerian, but this is Eulerian. Here only one edge. But if you have more than that, it is not. So you take this one, third one. So here we'll break this. Break this one. Then this edge. So this edge I write, this edge I write separately, and the middle part I write. Only one step. Because odd three to this odd, so whenever you take a cycle, degree 2, degree 1 will remain, another one will remain. So there, this is non-null. If you have more than one single edge, it's none, maybe more than two. Eulerian, you can break into distance. Here, if it is not Eulerian, you can't. You get degree 1 edges, one or more. If it is just one, only one edge, that means due to these two odd vertices, then it is semi-Eulerian or it has Euler path or open trail. If you have more than two, this were two odd vertices, then you have more than one. So this is not Euler. So remember these three graphs and these three breakdowns. So then we continue the notes and things. So then again, you can, I'll explain there, but here you can see. That's one you have to understand. Write down these things, Euler even degree, Euler circuit, or closed field. We use both names here, Euler path and open trail, and this is non-neutrality, because we are going to discuss Hamiltonian. So there, here we have trail and circuit, there we have path and cycle. So therefore, you understand the difference. Now, a connected graph is Eulerian if there exists a closed trail containing every edge of T. Such a trail is an Eulerian tree. Okay, semi-Eulerian, non-Eulerian graph, so we discuss. Now there are two theorems and lemma, so we look at that. So don't worry about I'm not asking you to do theorem, but better to know it. If it is very difficult, don't worry about it, but you can understand it. Theorem 1, a graph G is bipartite if and only if each cycle has even. Okay. If the graph is bipartite, that means vertices can be colored in two colors. Whenever you take an edge, one side is one color, one side is other color. That means no two vertices of the same color will join. So now we assume that graph is bipartite. Now we are going to say that cycle has even. So now since it is bipartite, we have vertex set V divided into two parts, V1 and V2, capital V1. And now we take any cycle. We have to say that the length is here. Cycle we take V1 goes to V2, V2 goes to V3, V3 goes to V4, like that up to Vm, and finally cycle is something close. The starting and vertical should be C. So we write this. Okay, starting and vertical, we write the cycle. Now we will since it is bipartite, suppose first vertex is in capital V1. If it is first vertex in capital V1, second vertex is in capital V2. Again, third one in V1, fourth one in V2, fifth one in V1, sixth one is V2, like that. The last one is in V1 because so. Therefore, one before the last is in V2. That is M in V2. Therefore, M is V2. 2, 4, 6, 8, those are in V2, therefore it is V2. So we take a bipartite graph. So if you take a bipartite graph, so we have the vertices with two colors, and so even if complete bipartite doesn't matter. So these are the bipartite. If the graph is bipartite, whenever you take a cycle, if the cycle exists, so it is a cycle there, but not mentioned that complete bipartite. So whenever you take a cycle, say it has even length. If you take a cycle, say like this, so say if you take one, say two, 3, 4, 5, so length. If you take another color, if you take black color, if you take one cycle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whenever you take a cycle, it's even. Okay, that is what we say. So if you take first one is in V1 is here, then V2 is here. So the third one is here, V3, fourth one is here. Then the fifth one is here, and the sixth one is there. And when it is closed, it goes to the starting. So these three are in one vertex set, these three are in. So if it is V1, V3, V5 are there, 2, 4, 6 are there, therefore 6 is even. So therefore number of vertices. Even though there are 7, for the cycle we didn't use that. Okay. Go down, come up. Go down, come up, you can like 6. So this way go down, come up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Ultimately, this will end. So that is the bypass. Okay. So the other way is the if and only if the, so if the graph is bipartite, if the graph has a cycle even length, we take one vertex. Okay, connected graph, one vertex in capital in V1, we take one vertex, and we take all the vertices which are even length from that vertex. From that vertex, length 2, length 4, as a one set, and with V1 and all the vertices with even length one set, the remaining vertices are others. Then it is fine. So okay, so the vertices with even length from the certain vertex are in one set. The remaining vertices, that means vertices not with even length, other one. So then V1, V2, that is the bipartite. Then you can show that. That's what it is. They just get the idea. So you don't want to prove this one. Then you get the disjoint union. Oh, okay. Shall we take 10 minutes break? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, shall we continue?
Okay, sir.
So that is the theorem 1. Then we go to the theorem 2, the dilemma. If G is a graph in which degree of each vertex is at least 2, then G contains a cycle. So each vertex has a degree at least 2, then the graph has a cycle. So whenever you look at a graph, so each vertex has degree 2 or more, 2, 3, 4, 5, always you can find a cycle. That's what we say. If the graph has loop or multi-edges, then it is trivial. Loop is a cycle. So the multi-edges mean between two vertices, between two vertices, if you have 2 edges, that's a multi-edges. Then you can take that one as a cycle. Therefore, this result is trivial. Now, therefore, we take a simple graph. Simple means no loops and no multi-edges. So then we take any vertex of the graph. So then adjacent to V, we take V1, we adjacent to V1, V2, like that we are going. So like this. So that it says that if each vertex is having at least degree 2, then it has a cycle. So now what we do is we take a vertex, say okay, we take one vertex V. We have each vertex has at least degree 2. So V connect to V1 is another vertex in the graph. V1 connect to V2. V1 connect to V2, V2 connect to V3. So that way you can go along the graph. V2 goes to V3, V3 goes to V4, like that. So you can find this way V1 goes to V2, V goes V3, V4, V4 and so on. So again we have somewhere it goes to say it goes to Vk. Again we have, okay, K is another vertex. K goes to K plus 1. So that way you can write cycle. K plus 1, K plus 1 goes to another vertex and so on. So then again after certain time, if it is Vk, again we come to the Vk. Okay, because when you choose starting V1, V2, we keep on adding the edges and continuously. And since the graph has a finite number of vertices, so when you keep on adding the vertices, you will come to the vertex already you have visited. So that part, that Vk to this part, that part of this the cycle is called the cycle. So you start from one vertex, we add vertex V1, then V2, V2, V3, V4, Vk, K plus 1, K plus 2. Again, we are coming to the same vertex in this walk. So here you get a one vertex already visited because we have number of vertices are finite. Therefore, you can't keep on adding without ending. Again, you are coming to the vertex you have visited. From that vertex to this, that part is a cycle, Vk to Vk. Or V2, if it is V2, again you are getting somewhere here V2. So between this V2 and this this one. So the between these two, this is called cycle, V2 to V2. That is called. So that is what this says. Reason is graph has finite number of vertices. Okay, suppose G is a simple graph, let V be any vertex, choose V1 be any vertex adjacent to V, V1, V1 to V2, V2 to V3 and so on, we are keep on adding vertices. So then, okay, so since we keep on adding vertices, some stage you, because you can't keep on adding without ending, you have to end somewhere. So again you are coming to the vertex you have already visited. That part is called, if Vk is the first such vertex, then that part of the work lying between the two occurrences of Vk is the required cycle. Okay. And the next theorem says connected graph is Eulerian if and only if degree is even. If each vertex having even vertex, even degree is a graph is Eulerian. Eulerian means that has a closed Euler trace. Vertices could be repeated. It just this. Suppose graph has an Eulerian trail. If we have Eulerian trail, that means you start from certain point and you come to the same point. You starting and at the same point. So we have to show that graph has even degree. So when the graph is Eulerian, whenever the graph is Eulerian, suppose these are the vertices of the graph. If the graph is Eulerian, So you start from somewhere, you come to this vertex. So if it is Eulerian, we have a close trail. So you go to the vertex and go out. So therefore you contribute 2 to the degree. Again you visit the next vertex, then you go out because we have a closed trail. Again visit the next vertex and go out. So each time we visit the vertex and go out, again we go to this vertex and come out. So go vertex and come out. This one. So again, so that here if you think about the degree here, you get 2 plus. You visit and go 2, again visit and go 2. Now I have, so we mark some more points here. So then again we come to here. Earlier we had 2 here. So earlier we had 2, now plus another, because we have already, so we come to this vertex and go out. So again I visit this vertex, come out and go to this. This is the contribution is 2. Here the number is. Again we go to here and you don't stop. Okay, you go to here and come out. So then contribute. Again go here, come out. Again go here, again from here go there and come out. Again. So this is also degree 2 plus 2 plus. Okay. So if you again visit this vertex, again so this one. So from here, suppose from here you visit this vertex, and come out. So this is again another. So here you get another. So therefore, if there is a closed trail, ultimately you join those. Ultimately you come here, and if you mark this as a vertex, so this and this. Okay. So that's it. Okay. So whenever we visit the vertex, you have to come out. We visit and come out because we have a closed trail. Therefore, each time you contribute to the degree of that vertex. Therefore, always we are getting even numbers at the vertex. Okay. That is the first part. And the second part is, if each vertex has even degree, we are saying that then the graph is Eulerian. Eulerian means you have to find a closed trail. So suppose we have like this. Each vertex is having even degree, say like this. So we have, so then we close. So not the same one given in the node. Okay. So here we use the mathematical induction also to prove this one. Here you can see each vertex is having even degree 2 and 4. even maybe degree 6 if you want. I'll show you. If you have another vertex here and join with that. So this is every vertex is having degree 2. Now we are going to say the Eulerian. So we are going to assume that all the graph which has even degree vertices have Eulerian graph, but this graph is not Eulerian. Now what we do is, since it is as even degree, and from this one, we are going to delete this cycle. And so we are going to, you know that since every vertex is having even degree means even numbers start from even numbers start from 2, 4, 6 like that. Since even each vertex is at even degrees are 2, 4, 6 like that. So that means at least degree 2. Each vertex is having at least degree 2. Therefore, by lemma, since each vertex is having at least degree 2, 2, 4, 6, 8 means 2 is the smallest, at least 2, then this graph has a cycle. So if this graph has a cycle, if this cycle contains all the vertices, that is the Eulerian cycle. If not, okay, so this has according to this lemma, this graph has a cycle. So suppose this is the cycle. So this is the cycle. Now we are going to delete the cycle. So if you are going to okay, so this cycle contain all the vertices, that is the required. Otherwise, we will delete this cycle. The blue one, I am going to delete the cycle. So when you delete this cycle, you get the graph. Here now you get this part, and this part. This is a disconnected. Can make I the sambandha and like that. It's a disconnected graph. Now we are going to show that now since this is a disconnected one, and so the resulting graph has edges of the graph is a subgraph of the given one, because we took cycle out. So since this has a cycle, this is a smaller graph of the given graph. Since this is a smaller graph, by induction hypothesis, so this graph is Eulerian. So then that means each piece is an Eulerian, Eulerian graph. So then what we do is ultimately, since all are Eulerian, we start from one point and we draw the graph, come to the vertex like that. You visit this one, you go this one, this way, and this way. Again walk along the next vertex. You join this one. Again walk along this one. Again, if you have the speakers, you join and come this one. So therefore, the given graph is. So similar thing we are going to discuss. I'll explain the note now. So suppose P is an Eulerian trial, graph as an Eulerian trial. That means whenever you that Eulerian trial, whenever you visit a vertex, you come out. You visit a vertex, come out, because the trail is closed. To make it close, you visit and come back. Whenever you visit a vertex and come out, you contribute 2 to the degree of that vertex. Ultimately, you are getting something close, because this is a Eulerian trail. So therefore, in this walk, or when you visit vertices and come out and come to the starting point, you have contributed a multiple of 2 to the vertex degree of each one. So therefore, each vertex is having even. So think about that. So now if the degree is even, the graph is Eulerian. We are going to prove by induction on number of edges of P. So assume that the graph which have less number of edges than G. G is the graph I draw. That graph, think about G. All the graph which has less than that number of edges, it is Eulerian. The graph I drawn one is the smallest graph which has no Eulerian trace. And we are going to get a contradiction and show that there is no such graph. So now, since the degree of each vertex is even, Now, since the degree of each vertex is even, so now that means even mean each vertex is having degree at least 2. By lemma, if the degree is at least 2, then G has a cycle. If that cycle contains every edges of G, then we have done. We got a cycle containing all the edges, that is the Euler cycle. If not, we remove that cycle from the given graph. Then the cycle has some edges, then the resulting graph has less number of edges. And since it has less number of edges, it is Eulerian. Okay, so it is Eulerian. Now you start from one H1 and we keep on connecting all the edges. Okay. By induction algorithm, each component has Eulerian, these are smaller. Each component is Eulerian. By induction algorithm, each component is Eulerian. Since each component has at least one vertex in common with each component one vertex, by connectedness we have required. So we start from one point, you connect this one, again this way, you keep on connecting all. So we reach all this one trait in Eulerian trial. So ultimately you connect all this one, and this is called the Eulerian trial. Therefore G has a Eulerian trial. Therefore we don't have a counter example. Then by mathematical induction, this is true for all. Until this one, we can this another compound reference. Then the corollary, there are two corollaries. So the first corollary is I mentioned earlier. Connected graph is Eulerian if and only if its set of edges can be split up into disjoint cycles. I show our Eulerian graph. Even here you can see, if you split at this point, you pull out, this one is out, this triangle out, this one out, the graph is. And the connected graph is semi-Eulerian if and only if two vertices have, that is also. Okay. So these are the properties of Eulerian graph. Then we have to go to the Eulerian one. We talk about the even degree. But if you think about our Königsberg-Bridge problem, this is the graph. What are the degrees? 3, 5, 3, 3. All vertices are having all these degrees. We have, in other words, more than 2 vertices of all 4 out. Therefore, this is non-Eulerian graph. So this has no Euler trait, no closed trait, or no Euler circuit. This is non-Eulerian, no Euler circuit. Therefore, if you start from one location, cross each line or walk along each edge exactly one, you can't come to the starting point. This is non-Eulerian. Therefore, Euler show that it is not possible. So if the solution answer to the people problems asked by those people in that Königsberg town, answer is not. It is not possible. He did all these things. A lot of it he obtained in graph theory, and that is how graph theory came. So ultimately, so you can see that just to solve a simple problem, we look like this. It is a very simple one. So we have to prove how many theorems we have to have check in lemma, identify Eulerian graph, degree of a vertex. When the graph degree at least 2 is as a cycle, and it is Eulerian even degree. Now you can get, if it is Eulerian graph, you can split the graph into disjoint cycles, and a lot of things he identified to prove that result. So you can do. So we have done so many things, several years work in order to solve that famous problem, just like 7 edges and 4 vertices. Not a big problem. Okay. So that is how we solve the problem. Then we go to the Hamiltonian graph. In the Hamiltonian, we have to find a closed cycle. So in the Hamiltonian one, both vertices and edges are distinct. Okay. So the Hamiltonian one, we have the cycle. You know, by definition, cycle has a closed path. Cycle has a closed path. When you close the path, cycle. Path, you know that path, vertices and edges both are distinct. Now, if you take the one graph, you draw a graph. In the Hamiltonian one, what should happen? So if you take this graph, so that we have to find the closed path containing each edge exactly once at the same, sorry, not containing each vertex exactly. Here vertices you can't repeat. When you don't want to repeat the vertices, you know that you can't include all the edges. The graph has 6 vertices. To make a cycle, you join 6 vertices by how many edges? 6 vertices, you join by 6 edges. That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Always, whenever you have the select one, border is a Hamiltonian cycle. 6 vertices we join by 6 edges. We don't want to use all the edges. Eulerian, you have to use all edges. Whether degree odd or even doesn't matter. Most times, if a graph has sufficiently large number of vertices and edges, each vertex has a large degree. Say, each vertex has degree 3, 4, 5, large number of degrees, then always you can find. So, this is a Hamiltonian cycle. Hamiltonian path is you have to join the vertices but not flow. Okay. So if you take this one, this graph, this one, so if you look at this graph and this graph, so this has a Hamiltonian cycle. This has a Hamiltonian cycle, and here if you start from this vertex, you can join all 3 vertices, but not close. No point of coming here. No. Close means you have to go join this. You join all the vertices, but not close. This is called what is Hamiltonian. This has a Hamiltonian. You join all the vertices, not close. This has a Hamiltonian cycle. Okay, try to understand. This one, if you start from one vertex, if you start from this vertex, you join this vertex, but this vertex you can't. You have to repeat. Without repeating, you can't. Therefore, this is not Hamiltonian or non-Hamiltonian. Not Hamiltonian. Okay. So, if each vertex having large number of degrees, so here this vertex has degree 1, that is a problem. Here this graph has 3 vertices of degree 1, therefore if each vertex has certain number sufficient large degree, then always graph is okay. Here a cycle, something closed, here path open. Here edges and vertices both are not repeat. Here you can't. So when you have the trees like these are called trees, next chapter we have trees. So these are not Hamiltonian graphs. Now we go to the nodes. I mean, we have developed necessary and sufficient conditions for existence of paths and cycles that contain every edge of a multi-graph exactly one. Here we determine whether there exists a closed trail passing exactly once through each vertex of P. Note that such a trail must be a cycle. Okay, such a cycle is a Hamiltonian cycle and G is Hamiltonian. If you have a Hamiltonian cycle, then graph is called the Hamiltonian graph. Simply 5 vertices joined by 5 edges, 10 vertices joined by 10 edges. Always the border is a Hamiltonian cycle. Semi-Hamiltonian means if there is a path. This one border is a Hamiltonian cycle. 4 vertices joined by 4 edges. Here 4 vertices we join by 3. No point of going there, you can't make a cycle. But here, you can join this, one will miss there. None. And this is the theorem. If we have more than 3 vertices, and whenever you take pair of non-adjacent vertices, so this and this, whenever you take the pair of 2 vertices, if the sum of the degrees are greater than or equal to n is 4. If you take these 2 vertices, this and this, not adjacent. Degrees is 2 and 2, 4, 4 greater than equal to 2. Therefore, this one. Whenever you take this and this has 4 vertices. Therefore, this pair, degree 2 and 1, 3. Then less. Here, whenever you take these 2 vertices, degree 1 and degree 1, degree 2, 2 is less than 4. Therefore, this is not happening. And some examples. Connected graph need not have a Hamiltonian path. Graph is connected does not mean it's a Hamiltonian path. 3 has no Hamiltonian path. K2, if you take a complete graph, K2 has a non-Hamiltonian path, K2 is a line. But Kn, any complete graph you take, border is a Hamiltonian path. Example for a Hamiltonian graph is a complete graph. K3 or about. For a graph with n vertices, n greater than equal to having a Hamiltonian circuit is equal to having a cycle. As if the graph has a Hamiltonian circuit, that means it has a cycle. Cycle as a subgraph. So this graph, this cycle border, 4 vertices include all the. If you can find a cycle containing all the vertices, then it's Hamiltonian. But here you remember that. So this 4 vertices, but cycle with 3 vertices, not that. You have to find a cycle containing all the vertices, then it is Hamiltonian. Okay. Cycle as a sub-induced graph. So that means this cycle should change, cycle Cn. Okay, you have a subgraph containing cycle containing all the vertices. Here, this has a cycle, true, but the number of vertices is not 4, 3. 1 is, okay, not that. Okay, so the complete graph, you can draw any complete graph, then it is Hamiltonian. Then remark, if all the vertices have sufficiently high degrees, then Hamiltonian path. And vertex same degree very long, so sufficiently large numbers, then you can find Hamiltonian path, even Hamiltonian cycle. Example, if G has n vertices and degree of each vertex is at least n by 2. If there are 10 vertices, each vertex has at least degree 2, then it's Saturn. So if this graph has 4 vertices, n is 4, n by 2 is 2, each vertex has at least degree 2. Here, 4 vertices, n by 2 is 2. This has degree 2, but this has 1. There are 4 more. Then there's a corollary. So these are regarding the Hamiltonian. If is a connected graph n vertices, they are n greater than or equal to 3. Then G has a Hamiltonian cycle if the degree of each vertex is at least n by 2. Connected simple graph with n vertices, n greater than or equal to 3. Then graph has a Hamiltonian cycle if the degree of each vertex is at least n by 2. Earlier mentioned. So these are the Hamiltonian and Eulerian graph and their properties. And I think Hamilton found that round robin problem game. So there, that given graph, and I think 20 vertices, no? 15, 20, 5, 10, 15, 20 vertices. That's the Hamiltonian graph. So then we have the application. So the applications we have to do the applications. So the mostly this comes under the Eulerian and Hamiltonian. So the next time we discuss that, but the background we'll talk about. Now, up to now we use the graph, just graph only. Now we assign values for the edges. When the edges are there, we assign some value. This edge 4, 5, 8, 10. These are called the weights of the graph. Many problems can be modeled using graph with weights assigned to their edges. Problems involving distances can be modeled by assigning distance between cities to the edges. Problems involving flight time can be modeled by assigning travel time between cities to the edges, and the problems involving traveling cost. Distance, time, cost with the cost between cities. So those are called the weights. Could be time, traveling distance, traveling cost. So then the graph with the weights are assigned called the weighted graph. Excuse me. Hello. Okay, so once the values assigned, the weighted graph. For example, suppose we take this graph. So the values are assigned. Just read only this value 4, 5, 6. So if it is a road map, these values are the distance between the cities. Say A, B, C, D, E are cities, and the distances are the values are the distance between cities. Then you can find the shortest path from A to Z. What is the minimum distance we have to travel? Say if you look at the above path, 4, 5, 6 is 15. 4, 5, 9, 5, 6, 15. If you take this one, 10, 2, 12, 3, 15, it is the distance. If the values are given in hours, sorry, time, hours. Say A to B, you take 4 hours, B to B 5 hours, so then you get the this minimum span entry, so the minimum distance with time in hours. If the values are the traveling cost, A to B 4 rupees, B to 5, D 5 rupees, D to 6 rupees, you get the traveling minimum cost to travel from A to B. Sometimes whenever road map is given, the values are in the distance, maybe travel to Kandy, Colombo. So mainly when you think about the distance, you get one part. When you get about the time, you get another part. If you take about the Kandy, Colombo, if you take the normally main road, Kandy, Colombo driving, you get 4 hours. 4 hours because of the return. But if you take, but the distance is 116 kilometers. But if you take another path, so you go to the K-Goal and somewhere else and come to the Rampo and go that way, then the distance is large, but the time is less. No traffic, you can directly drive. Okay. Sometimes the path you obtain for the minimum time is not equal to the path obtained the minimum distance. Or not the minimum. Sometimes when you go, you send 2, 3 buses or 2, 3 shows, so the cost is less. Okay, but that's why when you think about when the weights are traveling time, or when the weights are traveling distance or traveling cost, the paths are different. Okay, not the same one. So whatever the values are given, you find these are called the weighted graph. weight. These are all weighted weights are assigned. So these are used to model computer network communication because the response times of the computers over this line or the distance between computers can also be studied using weighted. Several types of problems involving weighted graphs arise frequently. Determine the path of least length between two vertices in a network is one such problem. Sometimes when you take the OR or the operational research or linear programming, we use the weighted graph also there. So that we take the networking problem. Also, here we also discuss network problem with the directed graph. So they are the direction, so the capacity of each edge or each link or line with you. So when you pass the packets through these large channels, so the capacity weight can't exceed the capacity, something like that. So there are weighted graphs, weighted normal graph and weighted directed graph, especially weighted graph for the network. Length of a path in a weighted graph is the sum of the weights of the edges. So when you find the path, the sum of the weights is called the length of the path. The path of least length between two vertices is the shortest path. And we are going to discuss shortest path. There are several different algorithms can use for the shortest path between two vertices. And we start this example. One is for the Dijkstra's algorithm. We found this algorithm to find the shortest path. So these are the things here. Eulerian and Hamiltonian graphs we are using, and this example will discuss next time. And also I'll send you assignment. I think the mid of next week I'll then do the submit assignment, upload the assignment. So you have to do the assignment also, and you have to do the assignment. Also, you have to remember that now I think we have started 4 modules. I think once I finish, Dr. One will start ANN. And anyhow, you have to do about 8 modules this semester. Normally, after a few lecturers start, 4 or 5 lecturers finish the course, others start. I think here, next week, I think this week you have 4 classes. So today, I think Professor Lienege did the class, no? Isn't it? He discussed, he conducted the class, no, lecture?
Yes, sir.
So 1, 1, 2, and tomorrow morning Professor Alukan, afternoon again Dr. Iruniga, and other 4 classes, one will start after I finish. And Dr. Manjula Sandrika, he's in Canada. I think he will do Zoom lectures from here. I think I try to contact him next week. He will conduct lectures from Canada. I think I didn't contact him. I couldn't contact. So then he is doing, and Professor Darshana Yap, I think, is also doing 1 module. Anyhow, you have